Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing, is no contact working? I provide audio coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details, www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing, is no contact working? So if you have gone through a breakup and want to try to get your ex back, then you may have heard people suggest that you implement the no contact rule. There are many different versions of a no contact rule that you can find online, and I believe that my version will give you the best possible chance of success. But how do you know if using the rule is working? In today's podcast, I discuss 3 points to consider when wondering if using my version of the no contact rule is working. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is you feel the heat. Now, first of all, it's important for me to say, if you've just heard of this no contact rule for the first time and you're wondering, well, what is your version of the rule? What makes it different? Well, please check out my YouTube channel, search under the playlists and find the playlist entitled The No Contact Rule. If you then listen to all of the podcasts in this playlist all of the way through, you can fully immerse yourself in my version of the rule. Now, some people say that the no contact rule is something that only dumpees can use to try to get their ex-dumper back. But my version of the rule actually works for both dumpers and dumpees, but they're used at different times. If you are a dumpee, then I suggest you use my version of the no contact rule ASAP after the breakup, after you were dumped. If you are a dumper, then you must implement my version of the no contact rule after you have made contact with your dumpee. How, where and why you do this is explained in other podcasts. I'm not going to dwell on that right now, but just to let you know, my version of the rule can work for you if you are a dumpee, but also if you are a dumper. And therefore, I suggest you listen to the playlist where you can fully understand and immerse yourself in my version of the rule from your own specific perspective. So point number 1 in today's podcast about is no contact working, is you feel the heat, and this is at first. If you imagine when you were to plug something like a light in, you will feel the heat. When you start something going, you feel the heat. When motion begins, you feel the heat. And therefore, when you start using my version of a no contact rule, the first way you can tell that it is working is that you feel the heat and you're going through the grind. I'm not going to lie to you right now. This is challenging. So if you think you're using no contact, but you're finding it really easy, the likelihood is you're not implementing it correctly. Now, I'm not here to say every single person is going to go through the struggle, but what I'm here to say is that most people probably will. There is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back. Nothing works 100% of the time, and nothing fails 100% of the time. But my version of the rule will give you the best possible chance of success, and most people who use my version of a rule initially will feel the struggle, they'll feel the grind, and this is because what you were doing is likely counterintuitive to what you previously thought. But additional to this, you are finding it tough. Okay, if you're going through a breakup, then you're likely feeling a combination of feelings similar to grief and drug withdrawal. So if you are not feeding that habit, you are going to be going through the grind. You're going to be going through these things cold turkey, you might say. And this is why you initially find it tough. So when people first say to me, how do I know if no contact's working? I say to them, look, are you going through the grind? Are you feeling this challenging? And if they say yes, then that is an initial sign that you are doing it correctly and that you are finding some level of success. And you're probably thinking, well, how is this helping? How is this helping getting my ex back? I'm feeling awful. Well, look, this is the first element. I've already said there's no guaranteed way of getting your ex back. My version of no contact and anybody's version of no contact can't guarantee getting your ex back. But what it can do, if you use my version of a rule, is put you in the best possible position to try and reconnect. This will increase your chances of success rather than reducing your chances. And therefore, if you're finding it tough, then this is probably a good sign for you that you're at least doing it right. You're implementing it correctly, because it is not supposed to be easy. If this was supposed to be easy, you could just contact your ex and they would say, yeah, let's get back together. That is unlikely to happen. Maybe in 1 in 1,000 cases you might get that to take place, but let's live in the real world here. This is challenging, this is tough, and the reason that this is unlikely to work is because your ex is feeling a low level of romantic emotional attraction right now. You can't just reach out to somebody who's feeling a low level of attraction and get into a relationship with them. So this is why it's tough. It's tough to use my version of no contact, because you're going against the grain. You're going against what you want to do, which is to reach out to your ex in a way which is not going to help you. As I said, if you're a dumper, you do need to reach out to your ex first, but this is explained in other podcasts. But for dumpees, this is where you should never be contacting your ex again unless they contact you first. But there are many caveats and other elements to what you should be doing. So, if you're feeling the heat, if you're going through the grind, if you're finding things tough, then at least you are probably on the right lines of finding success. But what is success? You're probably thinking, well, success is getting my ex back. But I would argue success is finding happiness. Success is finding fulfillment. And I believe if you use my version of a no contact rule, if you move forward in a positive way, you will either get your ex back or you will find somebody even better. And for me, that is success. But before any of that takes place, you will find yourself once more. You will understand who you truly are, and you will go through the self-improvement to become a version 2.0 of yourself. So for me, success is not necessarily about getting your ex back. Success is about finding happiness, because if you're happy, then who cares if you're with your ex or with somebody new? But first, you must go through breakup recovery. You must become a version 2.0 of yourself through self-improvement. And you must become a dateable option to not just your ex, but to other people as well. Grow your attraction net and find success one way or the other. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about is no contact working? And point number 2 is growth instead of thought. So when you are a stage 1 dumpee, or when you are a dumper who has changed your mind and want to reconnect with your ex and not sure how to do this, you are likely thinking of your ex 24/7. You are likely thinking that you should be with your ex, they should be with you, and nobody else can connect with you or them better. You'll be thinking of your ex in a way where they are on a pedestal and you are beneath them, looking and begging, if even just in your mind. If you want to understand if my version of a no contact rule is working, then you will start to see a shift from thought of your ex to personal growth. So at first, as I said, you will feel the heat, you'll feel the grind, you'll feel the struggle, but this will then evolve to when you are focusing on your own journey, going through the self-improvement and living your life to the full. If you're doing this, you are spending less time thinking about your ex. So when we are wondering, is no contact working? Well, ask yourself this question. Are you thinking about your ex 24/7, or are you spending some of that time more wisely by going through improvement? Now, this won't happen straight away. First, as I said, you'll go through the grind, things will be tough. But when the penny drops and you understand what you really need to be doing here, you will be going through self-improvement and growth. This can come in all shapes and sizes, whether you're learning how to cook something new, maybe from scratch if you don't know how to cook anything at all, or perhaps you are starting that college course to eventually get yourself a better job. Everything beneath, in between, and further than what I've just said, all include in self-improvement. It is endless, and it should be done daily. If you are growing more than you are thinking, if you are spending time on yourself more than thinking of your ex, then this is when you really understand that you are improving day by day, and my version of a no contact rule is working. Because as I said, something you first need to do is go through breakup recovery and then self-improvement. Those are the keys to success. If you're starting to do this, then my version of a rule is working, because you're thinking of your ex less and thinking of yourself more. This isn't selfish. This isn't going to stop you getting your ex back. If anything, it's going to help you one day reconnect, because if and when you hear from your ex, if and when you get the chance to communicate with your ex, you will wow them by being a version 2.0 of yourself. So always make sure that you are growing and spending time on yourself more than thinking about your ex and considering what they are doing, why they are doing it, and how you can be getting them back. Because instead of thinking how you can get them back, you need to do something to get them back, and that is focus on you. Okay? It is an illusion of action of trying to reach out to your ex in this way, but the reality of the action you should be taking is being active on yourself. Don't focus on your ex. Instead, focus on you. That is how you know my version of a rule is starting to work. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about is no contact working? And point number 3 is your ex loses their gold membership. So when you and your ex were together, you were likely giving each other lots of attention. Of course, maybe some of you weren't doing that, and that is perhaps why your relationship ended. But you know what I'm trying to say here. You was in a relationship and you were giving each other your time, certainly at least to a certain degree. But if and when your relationship broke down, and if and when you want to get back with your ex, there is a feeling that you should be doing everything you can to try and get your ex back by rectifying potential mistakes and giving your all. And this can be something which cause problematic results, especially if you were dumped for being complacent. You try to overcompensate and start to do everything you can for your ex, acting like an emotional sponge for them. You know, you are somebody who is trying to be there for them at every opportunity. And there are some exes, of course, that don't want to talk to their former partner, but some exes are happy to friend zone their ex and are happy to treat them in a way like they are a platonic friend, whilst allowing their former partner to do everything for them. You know, I would always say you've got to make sure that your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, they get the benefits of gold membership to you, okay? But nobody else does. So you need to make sure your ex loses their gold membership. They are no longer a gold member of your club. So if you have children together, for instance, then of course you are going to have to see each other. You are, of course, going to have to be polite and respectful, but keep it there. If you work with your ex, the same rules apply. Keep things on point, be professional, smile, be positive, but keep things to what the task is. They don't get their gold membership. You know, you shouldn't be buying your ex a present. You shouldn't be buying your ex even a card, unless under extreme circumstances, for their birthday, Christmas, etc., etc. Their gold membership has gone. You know, if they want gold membership, they must date you. You don't buy gifts to a former partner. You don't treat your former partner like they are your partner, okay? Former partners, former relationships are not current relationships. So don't treat them like a god. Don't treat them like a goddess. Even if you were dumped because you were complacent, you don't get them back by showing that you were getting your hands and knees for them like this. This is something, of course, if and when you get back together, you want to be having a healthy balance of give and take. But please, please, please don't be doing this to an ex. This doesn't show you as high value. This doesn't get them back in the majority of cases. It just creates a situation where they can date other people and still have you as a backup, as a platonic friend that they can use for whatever they want. So if you are thinking and wondering, is no contact working, then you will understand if it is, because you stop giving your ex gold membership. And once your ex no longer has gold membership, they will start to wonder about you. They will start to think about you more. And this is when you can grow romantic emotional attraction in their mind. Somebody won't want to reconnect with you unless they miss you. They can't miss you if you're always in their life. They can't miss what it is like to be with you if you're still buying them gifts. They can't miss what it is like to be with you if they can still unload all of their emotional turmoil on you and you just listen to it throughout. I'm not saying be rude, but I'm just saying you need to live your life as a single person. And if your ex wants to speak with you and it starts to go into this type of tangent, at some stage, you're going to have to politely and respectfully say, look, I'm really sorry, it's been great chatting, but I've got to go, I'm quite busy, and do your own thing. They don't get gold membership unless they are with you in a relationship, okay? As I said earlier, nothing works 100% of the time to get your ex back, and nothing fails 100% of the time. You will always get these odd examples which show that other things can work, but statistically speaking from my own research, if you put your ex on a pedestal, if you treat them like a god or a goddess, if you give them everything that you would from a relationship when they are not in a relationship, then this is unlikely to get them back, because why do they need to be back with you if they get all of this for free? If they get all of these benefits without having to be with you, then they could do anything they want, they could date other people, and they still get your gold membership. Please make sure you don't give them that. So if you're wondering if no contact is working, just see and understand whether your ex still has gold membership, and if they don't, then you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing, and if you live your life to the full, going through self-improvement, using the hints, tips and advice I give in and during the podcasts of my No Contact Rule playlist on my YouTube channel, you will really be able to use my rule to the max and grow romantic emotional attraction in your ex's mind. If and when it hits the necessary high point, this is when they will reach out to you, and then you can navigate the communication stage. If you're wondering how, why, and when you should be doing this, if you want more support, then please consider my audio coaching service where we can speak one-on-one about your unique situation. More details can be found on my website, www.dateme.tips. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.